welcome to the first ever Hype League podcast. It's something I've been thinking about doing the last year or so and never got around to it. But I got some time now. I'm living in North Dakota. Not a ton to do up here because I don't know anybody or have a job. So I figured maybe I'll do this once a week on Wednesdays. We'll recap last week's action, talk about the waiver wire, basically just, talk shit and bust your guys' balls about things. Maybe if you guys like it, we can do a little like Skype session interviews or something. Only gonna be like a little 10-minute show. I don't expect you guys to put me on when you go on the treadmill or work out or anything like that. Let's just get right into the first week's action. On the audio stuff a little bit, I'm not an expert on that kind of stuff. I will look into it more before I record next week, but I'm kind of just doing this on the fly. So there's probably going to be a little bit of static or some echoing going on. I'll work on it later. But now let's get into the action. Let's go ahead and start right at the top. Case versus Minotti. Case, the surprise highest scoring team of the week. I wasn't even sure he had ever finished drafting his team. He was just sitting there for hours, not bidding. Chuck even went outside and is singing karaoke. And Case has got a 2-hour drive ahead of him sitting inside. Had to be bumming out when all that was going on. Oh, that still makes me laugh, though. Case rode a 44-point performance from McCaffrey to victory. He won't be doing that this week after McCaffrey shit the bed last night. Maybe he can put Djax in and get another 40 from him. But I'm guessing that's probably not going to happen. Minotti, on the other hand, didn't actually have that bad of a week. You would think maybe he could have taken that national anthem performance and used the momentum to ride to victory, but it didn't happen. I guess he could blame Mike Evans having the flu on some of it, but Evans must have had the flu again last night because he was terrible again too. Probably the toughest part of the week for Minotti had to have been, I looked this up, this is a fact, you guys can trust me on this. Minotti was the only team in the whole world of fantasy football who started both Mahomes and Lamar Jackson this week and lost. That's a fact. You can look that up. I gotta say I'm a little bummed looking at Case's team and seeing Gallup on there. That was one of the few sleeper guys I had this year. But it is tough to pay attention to what you're doing when you get so drunk and stoned at the draft. Next, we'll move over to the next highest scoring team and Rob versus Brandon. Big surprise. We all would have assumed Brandon could have been the second highest scoring team. I mean, he does have Zeke, Barkley, and Julio. But it was Rob behind a 50-point effort from Sammy Watkins who takes the win this week. It's already looking like Brandon is potentially destined for the wild card again and another first-round exit at the hands of me. Rob's not likely to get 50 out of Watkins every week, even though I do think he could be better at being Tyreek Hill than Tyreek Hill is. He does have A.J. Green waiting in the wings, who will probably come back someday, I think. It is really interesting when you look at Rob's team. The numbers don't seem all that impressive, but Yahoo says it adds up to 198, and I'm going to go ahead and believe them. Brandon's definitely going to have to figure out something at quarterback, though, and fast. After losing Foles, he was already bad at quarterback before that. I gotta say, I did like O.J. Howard a lot coming in this year, and he's got 2 stinkers in a row and may not be the breakout that some of us thought. Next up, we'll talk about me versus Lemmer, because that is what's on my notes page next, where I pulled out a victory by less than 0.8 of a point. I was very close to losing that, though. I had the Denver defense go for 0. I didn't even know if we had negative scoring until I saw I think it was Chuck, had Jacksonville go for -4. So I didn't think I could have lost, but I did. Well, I didn't, but I could have. My team is obviously all over the place with Antonio Brown and Melvin Gordon. I have no idea what I was even thinking. Well, I know what I was thinking. I was thinking I drank a ton at the draft. That's what I was thinking. But I picked up Tre'Quan Smith as my third receiver, since I didn't even have a third receiver. And he catches a touchdown at the end, and I win. I had a list of guys that I was going to pick up to fill in for Antonio Brown. I ended up going with Adam Humphries. I thought he's the safest. I'll take 5 for 50 and just take the 10 points, and hopefully I'll just win. I mean, Marquise Brown was on that list. Ted Ginn was on that list. Nope, I went with Humphries, who was terrible and almost led to me losing. But I win and move one step closer to the playoffs. I suppose Lemmer could have won had he played Larry Fitzgerald, who had a big game, but that's not the kind of move you're usually going to make. The guys he had ahead of him are guys you're usually going to start. Moving on to the Fortnite Bowl, Rico versus Dustin. Handa probably mad that he wasn't in the Fortnite Bowl. And also likely the only person who's going to listen to this. But I guess I'm considering that to be Kish's team more than Handa's. I'm just glad that any of you guys take 2 minutes away from the game to participate in this league with us. Rico comes away with a big win, even though Dustin got 40 out of Dak. That was countered by the big 0 from Geronimo Allison that he had in his lineup, while having Crowder and his, 14 catches on the bench. That was not ideal. Rico, on the other hand, just had pretty solid performances right across the board, and had he just started Andrews over Jared Cook, he could have challenged Case for the top spot. Honestly, I think Jared Cook is terrible and will be on the waiver wire in 2 weeks. Next up, we have our battle of TV Trivia Titans. The Jeopardy champ, Kish, takes on the Ben Stein's money champ, Swain. No, he didn't actually win it on TV. It was just in the dorm room, but that's almost as good. Swain comes away with the win after Kish inexplicably is the lowest scoring team of the week. And it only gets worse for Kish. He loses Tevin Coleman and maybe Joe Mixon, both to ankle sprains. I signed up for a Fantasy Pros account this year, hoping I could use the draft thing for our auction, but it doesn't work that way. But I keep getting these emails from them, and they have Kish projected to be the worst team in the league. When I look at his lineup, I still love it, even with this injury problems. I don't get what everyone else is looking at. Swain, on the other hand, he rode the 3 tight end strategy. One of them retired to victory this week. I say that jokingly, but I might be interested in one of those tight ends if you're looking to make a trade, and if you are somehow still listening this late in the show, or you listened at all. I guess I'll find out when you offer me Evan Ingram for Dalvin Cook. Last and also least, we've got the Chuck versus Malinsky championship rematch, with Chuck pulling out the victory by less than 2 points. Malinsky getting what he deserves. 2 Steelers in the lineup, both stinking up the joint Sunday night against the Patriots. Malinsky really has no one but himself to blame for this loss, though. Besides the 2 Steelers, Allen Robinson and John Brown should have been easy starts over Sterling Shepard. Chuck, on the other hand, he did what MVPs do. He gutted out the victory, even after losing Tyreek Hill and getting -4 points from the league's best defense. I just hope everyone remembers Chuck didn't know who Darren Waller was at the draft. That means he didn't put in the work this offseason, and he doesn't deserve to be our 2-time champion. So everyone needs to step up and make sure it does not happen. So let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. I hope you guys enjoyed it. They will only get better because I am not a radio host, as I'm sure you could tell. But I expect to get better as the season goes on. Or maybe this will be the only one I ever do when I find out no one even listened to it. Let me know what you think or how much you hated it, more so, on the message board. And good luck this weekend. Go Browns.